All right, so have you ever stopped to think about what love looked like back in the day? I'm talking way back, like in the glow of a big old CRT monitor, long before we had smartphones and social media. Well, today, we're actually digging into the digital archives to pull out this legendary romance from 2003. And this whole thing, it unfolded entirely inside a fictional instant messenger called QELÚVVA IM. Let's jump in.
Okay, first things first, you gotta get the vibe. Picture this, the sound of a dial-up modem shrieking to life, the hum of a big desktop tower next to your desk, and then this screen pops up. This was your gateway, your portal to this whole other world, a social hub called Nightwave, and it was all powered by this service called QELÚVVA. This is the world we're stepping into.
And this quote, this right here, is pretty much the heart of the whole thing. The idea is that the technology, it wasn't the magic that created the connection. No, it was more like the vessel, the thing that just helped two people who were already in sync find each other. And this is the story of those two people, Peppi and Jarru.
All right, Section 1, A Lost Digital World. We're stepping back into the Y2K glow of a forgotten internet. You know, a place that had its own culture, its own language, and yeah, its own rules for romance.
So, you might be asking, what was QELÚVVA IM? Well, think of something like MSN Messenger or AIM, if you remember those. But imagine it with this completely unique cultural layer on top. It was all built around this fictional Arreqqana world, which means it had its own language, its own visual style, and a level of customization that was just way beyond anything we really had back then.
Okay, next up, typing indicators fall in love. And this is so cool. It's all about how these little animated cursors told a story all on their own. This brings us to our two main characters, Peppi and Jarru. And believe it or not, the very first hints of their story weren't in words, but in these tiny animations that popped up when they typed to each other.
And you can see their personalities reflected perfectly right here. Peppi's typing indicator was called Sparkle Flutter, just soft, kind of shy, glowing. Then you have Jarru's, Flame Bounce, totally passionate, chaotic, fast. I mean, this app lets you broadcast your entire vibe before you even sent a single word. How cool is that?
And here's the thing, people noticed. The whole community saw it happening. A friend of theirs, Narvin, who was in the same Nightwave chat rooms, just hit the nail on the head. He said they typed like they were dancing. Even their animations flirted. The connection was so real you could see it in these little dancing pixels.
And the level of detail they put into this is just incredible. I mean, each animation had its own unique sound. Peppi's was this soft little pili-la sound. Jarru was a sharp, crisp ta-ta fish. But okay, the real magic was when they both typed at the same time. Their animations would actually meet in the middle of the screen, and it would create this spark and flame duet that pulsed, almost like a heartbeat. Wild.
The world building just kept going deeper too. Even the status icons were super expressive. You had the green flame for online and active, a blue wave if you were idle, but then you had this special chaos mode. And that one icon pretty much tells you everything you need to know about the vibe in these chat rooms.
So that brings us to our next section, public drama, private messages. We're going to look at how they navigated their romance in the totally chaotic chat rooms of Nightwave.
And the public side of their romance was, well, it was pure chaos. This is an actual log from a chat room called, get this, Romantic Chaos. So Jarru drops this incredibly bold line, right? Peppi, if anyone writes poems about you, it should be me. And the whole room just erupts. You can almost hear the ooh through the screen. Their relationship was basically a spectator sport. But then you go to their private messages and the entire tone just shifts. It's a whole different world. Jarru sends Peppi this. I mean, when Lou walk into a room, even the app UI gets brighter. It's so soft, so sincere, a universe away from the public drama.
And here is the absolute kicker. The app itself was in on the whole thing. Seriously, QELÚVVA IM was designed to actually detect this romantic chaos. It would flash these system alerts. Melt alert, romantic tension at 87%. It was literally quantifying the romantic tension in the room. The app wasn't just a platform, it was an active character in their story.
All right, all of this, it's all building to the emotional peak of their digital courtship. A moment so legendary, people were talking about it all across the Nightwave network. We're talking about the first virtual kiss.
So it all starts late one night. In a private message, Jarru finally types out the words "Sa nomar vaya, Peppi," which means, I love you, Peppy. A huge, pivotal moment. But what he does next, that's what made it legendary.
See, he used this brand new feature called the Flame Thread Kiss. And this was not just some emoji, okay? This was a whole multi-stage animation. First, these little flame thread particles would appear and drift up. Then, they'd link together to form this glowing maroon and gold heart. Then, bam, a shimmering kiss mark ignites over the heart. And finally, the whole thing flies across the screen and lands right on her message bubble. It was a full-on cinematic event in a chat window.
And its power was undeniable. In her private diary, Peppy wrote this right after she got it. It wasn't just pixels, it felt like something. It totally transcended the screen. For her, this wasn't just a string of code, it was a real feeling, a tangible romantic gesture. And her reply? Just as beautiful, just as poetic. She meets his vulnerability with her own, and listen to this. She uses the language of the app itself, flame thread light, to describe how she feels. Your words melt through me like flame thread light, and I'm walking towards you too. Just wow. The connection is sealed.
But the story doesn't end there. Nope. The final phase is where the line between their digital world and the real world just starts to completely dissolve. So this all went down during this in-universe event called the Glitch Storm. The servers were getting unstable, the UI was flickering all over the place, and this static mode got enabled across all the Nightwave rooms. It created this really raw, emotionally intense atmosphere.
And in all that chaos, with the connection threatening to drop out any second, Jarru jumps on a voice channel. His words just cut right through all the distortion, and they're filled with this urgency, the kind of urgency you only get when you're terrified of losing the connection. He had to make sure she knew, just in case the line went dead for good.
And this is how all that digital language actually started to bleed into their first real-life meeting, which happened during this storm. The IM window on their phones almost seemed to be dissolving into the world around them. When their fingers touched for the first time, this shimmer ran up their arms, the exact same animation as the virtual kiss. And then, as they finally kissed in the rain, the app itself confirmed it. Thread match confirmed.
Which brings us right back to where we started. This was the final verdict from a fictional article written about them. The tech with all its beautiful, chaotic, expressive features, at the end of the day, it was just the tool. It was the bridge that let two perfectly matched people find each other across all the static and noise.
And that really leaves us with one last thing to think about. I know, this is a fictional story from a fictional 2003, but it really makes you wonder about our own lives right now, doesn't it? From swiping right on an app to sliding into someone's DMs, just how much of our own love stories are being written and shaped and defined by the technology we use every single day.